What's going on, people? Welcome to Coach Dad, the Rising Beyond podcast. I'm your host, Larry Tyler. Look, let's just get right down into it, right? We know the nature of what this podcast is going to be about, and I'm going to break it all the way down for you. What I would like to do is I'm going to try to explain how a father is suspended from a nonprofit organization. We're talking about a 501c3 public softball league for pretty much speaking up and standing up to a league panel and board members. And from that, the result, I believe through my experience, was a clear example of retaliation and discrimination. Just follow me. When I say what I'm experiencing reflects on retaliation, let's look at it like this. Negative action has followed behind the decision to speak up and to be an advocate and challenge what I believe was wrong. Now, my experience also reflects a form of discrimination. I say that I experienced a fair amount of unequal treatment, hostility, and form of punishment, which I believe was influenced by race. Hold up. When I say race group, social group, let's take into account you got 15 of the 17 board members are white. 2 of them are black men, which happen to have white wives. Nothing against that, but you understand the culture. Let's take into account I'm not from the South. I'm a Midwest cat. So do not fit in that social class in any way, form, shape, or fashion. I don't. Based on that, I feel it's clear to say there was retaliation for speaking up and discrimination in how I was treated, judged, and pushed out. It happened. I have been punished after speaking up. So this to me this is unfair. It's wrong in so many ways. So based off the documented pattern of event, right, I will be sharing with you and telling you what is really going on. Now, keep this in mind, and I want you to keep it real in the comments. I really do. And understand this. I want you to know this. I'm really reaching out to the public for some help, some advice, guidance. I am. And I say that because I've reached out to the mayor, the director of Parks and Recreation, the council, and I raised my concerns through the proper channel. What I got from them, man, I just felt was just as wrong on many levels as well. It is what it is. We're talking about the South. I'm a Midwest cat, and I'm experiencing something new. This has affected me and on so many levels. Just based off the type of person that I am. And, when I sit there and I think about morally, man, it troubles me. It troubles my conscience deeply. Ethically, man, it offends me because it goes against fairness, opportunity, and accountability. And then in principle, let's just be real, man. It violates the values that as a man I stand for. As a father, I stand on. Spiritually, it's been heavy. It's been heavy. There's been a lot of prayers because it's touched my heart. It's really disturbed my peace. And, when you think as a father, the deepest belief that standing up for your child should never be led with a form of punishment. I just don't think. Also, what I think is wrong is the fact that my softball community, they sit there, they witness it. You don't have anybody that's standing up and supporting these wrongdoings. And I don't understand. This could be you. I wouldn't want this to be you. And if it was, as you see, it'd be nice to know you're not in a fight alone. But sometimes you have to fight alone. I'm hoping that I can keep this fight going till I can get some help. I need some help. I'm hoping and praying, right, that the community, after hearing this, seeing this, y'all stand up, speak about this, man. Let's just keep it a buck, right? It's the community that has the final say. I mean, when you bring a community together and we stand as a community, change happens, right? I say that because when you sit back and just witness your own community league board members, right, perform unethically, and those behaviors, are allowed to govern the league and how it operates and do nothing, that says a lot about the community. It does, just think about it, And for me, it's disappointing because I care and I can see how not standing up for these type of injustices is really going to affect the league we're talking about long term. I guess it's easier for a lot of people to just sit back, watch, talk about what is going on than to be a part of what should be corrected. Come on now. Imagine if the community really did stand together. I mean, I do mean all community, not just the softball community. We're talking about the community. You then will realize who truly has the best interest for the community softball league. You really would. And it takes voices. It takes voices. The community has more power than any type of board. That's how we get officials in office. It takes the community to get there. It takes the community to remove. It takes community to make changes. Here's what I have learned so far from this experience. Because this is a nonprofit organization, and according to the mayor and the director of Parks and Recreation, the league can operate with immunity of their own wrongdoings. They have the ability. Here's what I've learned so far from this experience. Because this is a nonprofit organization, right? And according to the mayor and director of Parks and Recreation, the league can operate with immunity of their own wrongdoings and have the ability to operate, ambiguously. And according to the mayor, the council, and we're talking about the director of Park Recreation.
Mr. Tyler, thank you for reaching out and sharing your concerns. I understand how important recreational sports are for families, and I appreciate you taking the time to express your perspective. The town of Smyrna partners with our local recreational leagues through facility use agreements so they can provide these opportunities to our community. As part of those agreements, each league operates independently and is responsible for its own governance, policies, and disciplinary decisions through its board. Because of this structure, the town and the town council does not have oversight or authority to intervene in league-specific decisions, including suspensions or reinstatements. Those matters are handled directly by the league's governing board in accordance with their established rules and procedures. I would encourage you to continue working directly with the league's board regarding your situation, as they are the appropriate body to review and address your request. We value the role these leagues play in our community and remain committed to supporting them by providing safe and accessible facilities for all participants. Thank you again for reaching out.
Here's their statement to me. When they tell me to continue working directly with the board, Smyrna Fast Pitch League, regarding that's your situation. we ain't got nothing to do with that. I take into account, I think about the fact that, man, I've been working with them for the past 3 years. And we see where that has got me, right? 3 years suspension. For what? For speaking up? For speaking up. Come on. There's nothing that you have heard of that can warrant a 3-year suspension. Man, that's so severe. For a black father to speak up. Now look, you got 11 of the 17 board members, right? In those 3 years where I've had some form of negative encounter, it's safe to say there's no fairness in those eyes. Come on now, 11 out of 17? Really? Yes, it bothers me. I'm not going to lie that we have a nonprofit organization. We talk a 501c3, community-based organization operating like this in our community. When I say operating like this, for one, They're violating their own 2012 bylaws. The same 2012 bylaws they say that I violated, right? I want you to listen to the audio. The board believes that my conduct may have constituted a violation of the league's code of conduct. And here's what it states. Parents and spectators agree not to ridicule or demean players, coaches, umpires, or league officials in a public forum. In addition, the League 2012 Bylaws Section 2, Termination, provided this. Memberships may be terminated by action of the board or directors due to just cause. Just cause may be determined as acts of deeds which are contrary to the welfare of the organization or its players, including but not limiting to violation of code of conduct. Now that you have heard how they feel, right? Because you listen to the audio. They say I violated their league's 2012 bylaws. All right, cool. Let's say, for whatever reason, I violated their 2012 bylaws. And we're now 2026. We're talking about 14 years later. Right? That's that one thing. All right. Here's what I want to do. Let me provide you with the evidence of how they violated their own bylaws. And I'm going to provide you 9 or 10 different scenarios where up to 17 to 18 articles of their own bylaws they violated prior to the one bylaw they feel, keyword, I violated. Let me provide you with the evidence of how they violated their own bylaws. And I'm curious to hear what the community has to say. I really am. Please share in the comments. Let me give you the facts. That way you can talk about it correctly. And just like you can talk about it there, and just like I've seen where you can talk about it on my page and share your opinion, by all means, do it again. Share that opinion. But this time I need all of y'all to speak up. Make comments. Hit the like. Hit the subscribe. Circulate this. And the reason I say this is because I would like to bring so much awareness to this type of behavior that goes on behind the scene. And when you look at where we are today, changes have to be made. And the only way that's going to be made is if what's done in the dark, somebody shed light, right? I do not want any family to experience, any father to experience what it is to deal with resistance, for standing up, for what is right. Your job as a father is to be a protector. That's what we're here for. That's fatherhood. I am not doing what any present father wouldn't be doing himself in any situation. So any father in any environment would want to just make sure that their child, the environment, is safe. That's all. I plan to provide the complete account with documentation of the situation involving pretty much the 3-year suspension that they placed upon me. Here it is, they want to put me behind the fence, right? Because that's what they say, they stand behind the fence line and watch my daughters game. Nah, that's not gonna happen. You don't have that much power. And because that's saying that they have more power than the community. Really, it really does. So I plan to provide a complete account with documentation of the situation that they say led up to a 3-year suspension, where it is they placed me, trying to place me behind the fence. So my daughter can't see me, so I can watch the game behind the fence. Yeah, nah, that's not going to happen. So what I'm hoping is once you hear all the facts, not the lies, what has really been said, we talking about the facts, right? Then my question for you is, will you speak up or will you continue to talk amongst yourselves? And to the league president, board members, what will you do? As you stated, I was telling by the board that I was telling untruths. Here's the audio. Now, based on your own words from our last emergency meeting held in regards to me, right? Now, here it is. Once I provide the truth, what will you do? Will ego, power, control stand in the way of doing what's right? You know, I don't give a diggity dog about any apologies. Y'all don't have to say anything to me. I don't have to say anything to y'all unless it is softball related. This right here to me this is about standing on ethics, morals, being integral. You know, it's the principles behind this. This is about doing the right thing. So, my question to you, board, will you allow my daughter to have her father present at her games, or will you continue to stand on ego? And I'm being polite when I say ego. All right, enough said, really. Let's get into it. Facts. I will provide communication records, meetings, transcripts, and any support material that outlined the timelines of events, right, that they say led up to a 3-year suspension. So again, I ask, is this retaliation for pressing accountability from the board as I provide you a host of factual events? Or is it power and control? Action has directly impacted my ability to be present as a father. When I talk about it has affected her ability to participate in a safe and supportive environment, y'all heard the video. Because there's no way I'm going to miss your game. And they tell me I got to stand all the way behind the fence at the homework, that I can't come inside, that I have to watch the game from behind the fence.
From like on the outside of like all the other fields?
Yes.
They can't do that.
I say the same thing. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel wrong that I have to deal with this myself. I have to listen to it myself. I have to help with this. I don't want people to get in trouble. I don't want people to be mean to each other. I just want to work as like a team.
Mm-hmm. Well, does this sound like the organization is working as a team?
No.
What does it sound like to you?
It just sounds like a big clump of just arguments.
Okay, well, that's what happens when fathers stand up for their daughters. But they don't like me because I'm very supportive and I stand up for a lot of different reasons. But it's okay. Your daddy gonna keep fighting because that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's what you want me to do. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Now, bear with me. I will be providing a 3-year timeline with key points. So, over the past several seasons, like I said, there has been multiple incidents. We got 9, 10, 11 involving concern about conduct, fairness, and how situations involving my daughter and me were handled. And these concerns were raised through proper channel and communicated directly to leadership. All right, so for clarity, I will provide the documented timeline of key incidents, which facts, and point out their own violations of their 2012 bylaws. Try to keep it moving and going. All right, so when we talk about the first event, this was March 2023. So, yeah, the board meeting took place where I was not present. During that meeting, statements was made about my character and my conduct without my ability to respond. I wasn't there. Now, we don't deal with the 2012 bylaws, their own bylaws, their own. Most important, this is their own bylaws that they violated, and no accountability. So based off of their own bylaws, this right here violation, right? This is the board meeting conduct the board meeting conducted without my presence. That's a violation of Article 3, Standard of Conduct, Duty of Good Faith. What occurred? Statements were made about my character and conduct. I was not there. I wasn't present to respond. So, right there, all right? Why this violates their bylaws? According to them, why this violate their bylaws? According to board members must act in good faith and with reasonable care. Discussing a member without allowing response does not meet them standards. Your bylaws, right? All right, let's move on. April 2023, right? That's the meeting I attended, next month. And I provided a respectful, written response. I do have a couple things to say about the meeting that was held last month, where I was a topic of discussion. For any organization that is run with bylaws, to best protect the organization's image, integrity, and position, the official thing to do when a board member is absent would be to table that discussion till a later date. In respect to that board member and all other board members, that conversation should have been tabled and postponed to a later date when said board member could have been there to best represent themselves. That would be according to any bylaws of any organization that exemplified standards and principles to best represent the organization. There should have been a motion for the board to table that discussion, unless people are just used to just doing things their own way. Anything outside of that is personal. To speak about a board member in their absence is just rude and disrespectful. And to justify, I quote by the president of the league, Jennifer, who stated Larry was supposed to be here, but for some reason he called at the last minute to inform me that their washer machine water line busted, and he is not going to make it. Those actions are unbecoming of a league president. And then to place blame on one individual for sponsorship being lost is wrong and is negligent in your responsibility, Madam President. You stated, I quote, "The food that we were sponsored is not being sponsored because of Larry," to say that. We lost sponsorship is because of Larry, and then considering removing a board member is unfathomable to me. But that is what happens when it's personal over professionally. My question to you, Madam President, at what point do you take accountability? I spoke with you on many separate occasions prior to us getting to this point. In December is when I was asked to take on the role of Public Relations Director. Let's not forget, I applied for and was very interested in the commissioner role. You Katrina and others felt that this was a good role for me. I took on the role with hopes of being that black Superman. But when real-life kryptonite fell upon me, in the middle of January when we spoke, I shared with you that I was going through difficult times, and that a part of my lack of communication into my personal life is because I was uncomfortable with sharing my personal life with people I don't know. You, Madam President, shared how your empathy and how we all been there. In February, we spoke at the meeting. I shared with you that I believe my schedule is loosened up to where I can commit a little more. That did not happen. I communicated to you a couple times throughout the month via text that the assigned task I am having difficult completing as I continue to communicate to you throughout the month, with the assigned task not being complete, to prevent getting to a point where we place blame on others. At what point do you as the president step in to create a resolved? We must not forget at the end of the day, all responsibilities stop at you, Madam President. Placing blame on me, not once, not twice, but 3 times. I shared with you on all 3 occasions that you are not going to place blame on me for what you were responsible for in regard to that situation. And now to personally attack my character, all because you took it personally. It is unacceptable. So I say to you, Madam President Jennifer, respectfully, if there is a 3rd time, I promise you that our conversation will warrant your husband to come see me. You could have pulled me to the side, called me, to express all your personal dislike, and we would have been Gucci. Instead, you attacked me in my absence. I would have expected and respected more from the league's president to do so. My question for you and all board members, is this the culture of Smyrna Fast Pitch League? Is this what Smyrna Fast Pitch League being about? Talking about folks behind their back, gossiping amongst the league members, lacking the ability to communicate effectively, and creating an atmosphere that's not exclusive. Now, if you did this to me, a board member, what to say you wouldn't do this to any other board member here? Losing sponsors was not my issue. This league has been losing sponsors long before me. I have been with this league for 3 years now. If any of you really paid attention to me, I am people of the people person. There is a lot within the organization that needs attention, and the people talk when they care. The culture and attitude of this organization is something that needs to be worked on. 17 or however many years of the same type of culture. And attitude reflects board members, the official, the parents, coaches. Maybe it's time for a change in leadership or leadership attitude.
It is. All right, now, within 20 minutes after that meeting was concluded, there was an emergency meeting held, and I was voted off the board.
based on their own bylaws, this violation, we got emergency meeting and removal from board. That is a violation of Article 3, board member dismissal and just cause requirement, right? What occurred? I provided a written statement, right, in response to what transpired in the prior month. And because of how I made some people feel in my written response, no one took into account of how it is I was feeling in my absence, and then to hear about it after the fact, the things that were said, right? Within 20 minutes, an emergency meeting was held, and I was removed. Why this violate the bylaws? Your bylaws. Disciplinary action requires me just cause. No documented misconduct tied to my removal. When you look at the timing of it, it supports a reaction to my response rather than an objective view. Would you agree? That's your bylaws. All right, let's move on to 2023, right? During a game, a coach made an inappropriate physical contact with my daughter. Coach grabbed my daughter by the arm, snatched her up because she had tagged that coach's child coming home from third, and her child fell. So it was a physical tag, but it's softball. It happened. But because of that, the parent, who so happened to be a coach, so happened to be a board member, grabbed my child. I got a conversation of this. And address my child in front of the entire game, spectators, players, kids. Whew, come on now. That should have been addressed immediately. Anyway, that incident, it was reported and documented. No action taken, right? But based off of your own bylaws, I gotta say it every time, right? Coach's physical contact incident. All right. What violation? Article 2. Objective and purpose. Protection of players' well-being. What occurred? A coach made physical contact with my child. The incident was reported and documented. No action taken. Why does this violate y'all bylaws? All right, your own bylaws. The organization must protect physical and emotional well-being. Failure to act after a reporting incident shows lack of enforcement. That's your bylaws. Your bylaws. Okay, let's move on. 2024, the spring and the fall season, right? After raising concerns regarding the leadership, how they've been conducting, things of that nature, board meeting and things of that nature, I was denied coaching opportunities. Yeah, I was. I was given various explanations. Here they are. You know what I'm saying? But one thing that was consistent was I was denied for various different reasons. Now, based off of your own bylaws, I have to say that every time. Because these are what y'all have in place for me. Right? So, denial of coach's opportunity. Man, that's a violation of your own bylaws. Article 3. Standard of conduct, duty of good faith, consistency, and fair applications. What occurred? After raising concerns, I was denied coaching roles. I was given many different reasons. Why this violate the bylaws? Action must be fair and consistent. The patterns suggest selective treatment, tied to the fact that I was advocating a lot of different things in your bylaws. Community, y'all hearing this, y'all understanding this, right? This is what I'm dealing with. They feel they are, that when we talk about power and control, when you can violate your own bylaws. What is that? Listen, I'm moving on. That's a shame. It's that many violations of your own. And you worried about the fact that I spoke up? Come on now. That's that mirror holding it up. Anyway, now let's deal with July of 2024. My daughter, right, was placed on the team coached. My daughter was placed on the team coached by the individual, the same coach connected to the prior concern where we talk about the coach grabbing my daughter, yelling at my daughter. Now, despite my request for a neutral environment, right? Request for a neutral environment, neutral placement. Leadership, fully aware of the situation, chose to put her and keep her on that team. Here's the documents. All right? Now, when we talk about team placement and decisions, according to your own bylaws, violation Article 2, objective and purpose, protection of players' environment. What occurred? My daughter was placed on the team connected to a coach that was tied to prior conflicts, incidents, physical incidents, sportsmanlike incidents. All I requested for a neutral placement, and they were ignored. According to your bylaws. Why is this a violation? League must provide a safe and supportive environment. Placement decision ignored. Known conflict. And my daughter had to experience what it was like to be coached by a coach who she's not comfortable with because of what she experienced from her and her coaching style and team. Is that fair? Come on now. All right. Let's keep it moving. So then we have the July 2025, right? During the travel ball event, you had the husband of a board member where a conversation led to a confronting me aggressively in front of players, parents, and others that were present, right? No actions was taken. Now, let's take into account president and board members were there. The president was aware and board members were there when it took place. So, when we talk about y'all bylaws, we have aggressive confrontation by a board member's family. That's in your bylaws. What violation is that? Article 2, purpose, sportsmanship, and respect. Article 3, man, that's two different bylaws you violate. Standard of conduct, what occurred? A board member husband had a verbal aggressive conversation in front of players and parents. No action was taken. Why is this a violation of the bylaws? Respect and sportsmanship. Standards were not enforced. Leadership failed to address behavior. Because I didn't do anything. I ain't say anything that day. I tell you, wait till I tell that story. Oh, wait till I tell that story. Let's move on. After that, you got July 2025. Man, there was an emergency meeting called and held at the park involving parents, coaches, and whoever else was there. And the reason that meeting was because I shared a player assessment and an opinion. That's it. Here it is. All right. From that, right, that meeting was called in a public setting. We talk about in front of spectators, minors. Was made that included accusation of bullying, challenging my role as a father, as a parent. I'm getting direct criticism of my parenting style. These statements was made openly and without any type of verified evidence presented at the moment. Just emotions running. So again, when we talk about this, because if you want to hear the whole video, I have it uploaded on my YouTube channel. I recorded the meeting, the entire meeting, and you can hear everything that is being said about me, my family, and my child in a public forum. So we got public team meeting, right, and the removal. Okay, where's that the violation? That's your own violation. Article 2, objective emotional well-being. Article 2, sportsmanship and respect. Article 3, standard of conduct. Let's talk about what occurred. Public meeting held at the park. Parents, teenagers, coaches spoke openly. Accusations made about my child, me, my family. Me and my daughter was removed from a team publicly. You don't know what it looked like, what it felt like. All those white folks, just being real with you, all those white folks sitting right there. As I'm sitting there, addressing them on my own, they trying to get a rise out of me. Wouldn't let it happen. You can hear, I'm telling you, go listen to it. Go listen to it, and you can feel my presence. You will see who was the aggressor. And you can see why I felt some type of way. Now, why this violates their own bylaws? We talking about sensitive matters involving a child, handling it publicly, environmental. Come on, man. You created embarrassment and emotional exposure. There was no structure or private disciplinary process presented. That's y'all bylaws. October 2025. People are petty. Parents are petty. Coaches are fake. Because some people base their feelings or emotions off of conversations with their own. So pretty much in this one, you had a parent on my camera, on my first base camera, flat out telling me a whole bunch of things. Not a lot of kind words. Even said she was going to knock my camera down. And guess what, y'all? She put her white face on my camera and said what she was going to do and did it. Check it out.
I like getting under his skin. I don't like him. Here, take this. Hey, you need to come get this. Hello? Hello? Hello, come get this. Look, I got these off the damn camera upside down.
This shit is real that I'm going through. And it was reported. No action taken. Again, based on your own bylaws. Right? What violation? That's Article 2. Sportsmanship and respect consistent of enforcement. What occurred? Parent, grandparent, I should say, knocked down my camera, messed with my equipment. I got it all captured on the video. There's evidence. Of course, it was reported. No action taken. Again, why this violate the bylaws? Conduct standards not applied, man. Consistency. Failure to enforce rules across incidents. These your bylaws. I'm just calling you out on them. I mean, if you're going to hold me to a standard, we can hold you to the same standard, can we not? Right? These are y'all bylaws put in place to conduct operation in the best interest of the league. Correct? All right. Now we here, right? March 2026. After speaking publicly about my experience and concerns regarding fairness and accountability on my podcast, they called an emergency board meeting to discuss how it is that they want to deal with the situation. And that came from me just asking my daughter to be placed in a neutral environment because I seen that 5 of the teams there had been issues with out of the 8. Well, just put her in one of the 3. And whichever coach pick her up, she got it. It's cool. We keep it simple. That's just all I was requesting. That's it. That's all I was requesting. I wasn't being difficult. I wasn't asking too much. I'm sure any father who was in my position, after I've explained all these thus far, would you be wrong? Or wouldn't you be within your parental, fatherly rights to just ask, hey, man, you are fully aware of these five other teams and what involvement has taken place over the 3 years, and my daughter's not comfortable nor safe. I'm not comfortable or feel comfortable with her safety in those teams. Just put her in the pool of the 3 and whoever get it, because those 3 had nothing to do with it. Regardless of how it is they may have felt towards me, they had nothing to do with what has been directly applied and affected my child. And because I did all that, from that Sunday is when I put up my post until that Tuesday. The email letting me know that a board meeting was being held in my records. Following the meeting of the board of directors, right, that was placed on March 10th, 2026. That's when the board came together and about concerns previously communicated, that I communicated, and that the statements I had made publicly, as required by their bylaws, right? The league's bylaws. I was informed of the general nature of the concern, and I was provided an opportunity to appear before the board to respond. That ain't how it went. And after reviewing the information, basically, they went to my podcast. They listened to my podcast, my public information, my public platform, right? The board determined that my conduct violated the code of conduct, which states this: parents and spectators agreed not to ridicule or demean players, coaches, umpires, or league officials in a public forum. You can go on my website, you can make that assessment, and you can get back with me in the comment. So, section 2, right? Termination and discipline of the league bylaws, which provides that the board may discipline or suspend members when conduct is contrary to the welfare of the organization and its participants. Hold up. What about y'all? Let's keep it fair. If y'all gonna judge me off the standards that y'all, those same standards should apply to y'all. Let's just keep it real. Come on now. According by vote of the board of directors, right? The following disciplinary actions has been imposed. You are suspended from the league participation and activities for a period of 3 years, effective immediately. Come on now. That's personal as hell. 3 years for standing up, for speaking out, for calling you out on injustices. Here, you've just given me 10, 11 situations where you violated your own bylaws. And all I did was stand up and ask for my daughter to be in a safe environment. And this is the result. You tell me what that is. All right. Check it out. During this suspension, man, I can't make this shit up. You may not enter or remain within the fence playing area, dugout, team area, or any other space designated for the league participant, coaches, volunteers, or spectators during league games, practice, or events. You may not attend league meetings or participate in any league activity. Damn, this is personal. You may not directly or indirectly contact or communicate with league coaches, volunteers, board members, or league officials regarding league matters. I can't do anything. Sound like you don't want me there. Any necessary communication regarding your child, right, participating in the league must occur through the child's other parent or legal guardian. What if she didn't have another parent? What if I'm her only legal guardian? We'll talk about that. I'll let y'all deal with that. This restriction includes, but not limited to, communication through text messages, phone calls, emails, social media, messaging application, or communication through third party. Because league activities take place in a public facility. It's a public facility. But you don't want me in the public anyway, because league activities take place in the public facilities not controlled by the league. This suspension does not restrict your presence in the public area outside the playing field or fences around. However, you may not approach, interfere with, communicate with league participants, coaches, volunteers, or officials during league activities. Violation this is going to be interesting. Violation of these conditions may result in additional disciplinary actions affecting league participation. What other violation can there be? Are you going to suspend my child? You going to take it out on my child? Let's see. You say these actions are taken to uphold the league's bylaws, enforce the code of conduct, and maintain a respectful and positive environment for players, volunteers, and participants. What about board members? What about them? Right? And then to say, this decision is final and is made in the best interest of the league and its participants. The community didn't vote on this. The community is not even aware of this. Remember, you removed that transcript. So how do they know what's going on? They will now. But again, like I said, by your own bylaws, that states that the league's actions violate their own. All this that you right here doing, that emergency meeting, we talking about the 3-year suspension. Man, 3 years? 3 years for standing up. But according to your bylaws, this is what that violates. Article 3. Yes, man, I did my homework. Board members' dismissal and just cause requirements. Article 2. What it violate? Standard of conduct. What occurred? I spoke publicly about concerns. Emergency meeting was called. We talking the severity of a 3-year suspension issue. Why this violate these bylaws? There was no physical misconduct or safety concerns when it comes to me. The action is excessive and not aligned with documented behaviors. The action is excessive. Don't you think? What did I do to warrant a 3-year? Come on now. And finally, last situation. Well, I think I got it all in order. At the last board meeting, again, we talking about March 2026. That meeting was held in the public park while players, parents were at the field. Man, this right here falls under the same violation as the first public park meeting. We talking about the public travel team meeting and the removal. Same violation. Article 2, objective, emotional well-being. Article 2, sportsmanship and respect. Article 3, standard of conduct. What occurred? Public meeting held at the park. That door was open, made it public. Should have shut the door. Know the law. Accusations was made about what I spoke on my platform. Right? Why this violate your own bylaws? That's a sensitive matter being handled in a public space. It's your bylaws. That environment created embarrassment and emotional exposure. No structure or private disciplinary process. There was no supporting evidence. Statements in the meeting, the transcripts, where they at? Although I prepared a statement and I read it, well, y'all had a prepared statement. Y'all was already prepared. I had a prepared statement read by the vice president, outlined all these allegations against me. That statement form right there, that was the basis of the discussion and the vote. There was no process that followed. Then when I requested that statement, right, the official minutes, what did y'all do? I was provided an agenda only. It did not include the content of the statement. The admission raised concerns about the completeness and the accuracy of the official record. That wasn't there. Based on your own bylaws. We talking about meeting records and documentation failure. That's a violation. Article 3. Your secretary duties. We talking about your your record keeping. Article 2, standard of conduct. Reliance on information. Come on, what occurred? Prepare statements read against me. Statements forms basis of decisions. Statements not included in the official minutes. Come on now. Why this violate y'all bylaws? Listen, we know meeting records must be kept accurate and public. And they have to be complete. The decisions based on information not preserved in official records, y'all don't have no records of how it is y'all came up with y'all meeting. Y'all decision, right? We talking about ongoing structural issue, conflict of interest in the decision making. 11 out of 17 is issues. What that violates? Article 3, standard of conduct, duty of good faith. Your bylaws. What occurred? Majority of the board members had prior involvement with me. No recusal or separation occurred. So if 11 out of the 17, man, they'll go half the votes right there. Wouldn't have mattered. So, we talking about fair decision making, not required. Neutrality wasn't there. Prior involvement, compromise objective. Come on now. That's an ongoing pattern. We talking about selective enforcement and retaliation concern. That's a bylaw. What occurred? Majority of board members had prior involvements. Why this violates your own bylaws? We're talking about fair decision making, right? Which requires a neutrality type of environment. We're talking about prior involvement, which compromises fair and being objective. There's an ongoing pattern. And we're talking about a selective enforcement and a retaliation concern that I'm worried about. And that is a violation of your bylaws. We're talking about Article 2, purpose and fair environment. Article 3, standard of conduct. Tell me what occurred. Multiple instances, right, involving others and no action taken. Only my actions resulted in a severe discipline. Only mine. Y'all sat here and violated multiple bylaws in the 3 years. Why these violate the bylaws? Rules. Let's just keep it real. Rules must be applied consistently. You can see that the patterns shows imbalance in enforcement. It does. Complete imbalance. Now, despite all 10, 11 of those different circumstances against me, what you can't say is I've done anything, there's been any type of physical misconduct or any safety violation has ever been committed by me in the 6 years of involvement with the league. My actions have been consistent. I've been focused on being an advocate for my child and any other. I've addressed concerns related to my experience, my daughter's experience. Taking into account, following that meeting, a decision was made to issue me a 3-year suspension. This decision prevents me from being present at practice, at games, within the league area. Can you imagine the impact it has on my daughter? Listen to her.
I had to ask my daughter one of the hardest questions a father should ever have to ask. What does it feel like when the man who coached you, supported you, and stood up for you is told he cannot be at your games? This was her answer.
How does that make you feel to know that your daddy cannot be at any of your games?
Oh, you're still coming anyways, I bet.
You know I am. You know I am.
And especially this one, probably.
No. I'm gonna wait till the first because this is scrimmage. I ain't gonna press that. But for the first real game, yes.
But think about that. How would that make you feel to know that your daddy, that somebody, because your daddy spoke up to defend you, to protect you, because he wants you in a safe environment, right? And then because of that, they say your father cannot come to any games. How does that make you feel?
Like, defeated. Like, now you can't help me. You can't let me understand anymore. Like, when I come back in, you can't give me any more advice. Since you've been a coach before, you can't, like, give me any advice. You can't help me with plays and things. And now that you can't come, now, and especially you hype up all the other kids too. You hype up me and the whole team almost every single year. Even when you're not a coach, you still hype us all the way up. And now we might be all like we're ready to play and stuff. Like, no one's gonna be like super happy and excited, like that type of like game ready excited.
Is that what your dad brings? So when you say defeated, that's a powerful word. Do you understand what defeated means? What does defeated means to you?
Defeated means it was just like everything has just gone away.
Do you feel supported?
Like by our coaches?
No, but if your dad isn't there, will you feel supported?
Like with my teammates, yeah. I feel very supported with them.
But to know that your father can't be at your games, you feel defeated.
Yes.
Okay. You have, so that's what we're working with. So yeah, today Daddy is not.
You probably have to do this podcast today while you're not at the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it done this weekend. Cause there's no way I'm gonna miss your game, and they tell me I gotta stand all the way behind the fence at the homework, that I can't come inside, that I have to watch the game from behind the fence.
From like on the outside of like all the other fields?
Yes.
They can't do that.
I say the same thing. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel wrong that I have to deal with this myself. I have to listen to it myself. I have to help with this. I don't want people to get in trouble. I don't want people to be mean to each other. I just want to work as like a team.
Well, does this sound like the organization is working as a team?
No.
What does it sound like to you?
It just sounds like a big clump of just arguments.
Okay, well, that's what happens when fathers stand up for their daughters. But they don't like me because I'm very supportive and I stand up for a lot of different reasons. But it's okay. Your daddy gonna keep fighting, because that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's what you want me to do. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Based on their own bylaws, that alone, the most important one, that violates Article 2, objectives, protection of players' well-being. The kids. We talking about the kids. What occurred? That suspension prevents my presence. My daughter has already missed 5, 6, 7 practices, simply because if I can't take her, because I'm not allowed to be inside the establishment, but because I refuse to drop my daughter off unattended, because that's what you want me to do. What this does, it violates your bylaws, another bylaw. Decisions directly affect a child's ability to participate safely. Environment created does not support development or well-being. That's what y'all created. Y'all created this. And you want me to put her in that, environment? As a father, my priority is the safety and the well-being of my child. I will not leave a 9-year-old little black girl unattended at a public park. So because of this, my daughter, like I said, has already missed many practices. This has affected the team to ability to operate as a team. This is not a minor consequence. It's not. This has really affected, directly impact on the team, my daughter's development, her participation, and her experience this season in youth sports at Smyrna Fast Pitch League. She now has to process why, right? Why her father cannot be present to support her at her game. Why she's able to see other children, parents there who said nothing. I guess why that would be a good reason why they're there, because they have no conflict. But to see a father stand up for his daughter and be penalized for that, listen to her. This how has it affected her. Now, I say this. Now, I have provided, Lord knows how many incidents, documented incidents, which demonstrate the ongoing concern involving the conduct, the fairness, and how situations were addressed by the board members of the organization. Those situations have been clear violations of their own bylaws. But here's the thing that kills me. But they want to bring disciplinary actions against me. And that doesn't raise concerns about whether accountability is being applied evenly or whether this response was influenced by the decision to speak up and to be an advocate for my child. Right? So after listening to all of this, according to the timeline, I will end with one direct question. I will end with one direct question. Based off the documented patterns and the specific bylaws, violations identified, let's just keep it real. I gave you everything. You tell me, what is this to you? Please share in the comment. Is it retaliation or what? Come on now. And I want you to take into account. They basing this off their 2012 bylaws. It's 2026. That's 14 years, right? That should raise concerns right there. I'm just saying, those guidelines do not reflect the current environment of communication, including social media, which was what was referenced as part of the allegation anyway. Like I've shared before, I've reached out to the mayor, reached out to the city council, the director of Parks and Recreation. I provided them the same evidence that I provided to all of y'all. This isn't about league operation. This is about how the league operating independently and is responsible for its own governance, policies, and disciplinary decisions throughout the board. This is about fairness, equality, really providing a safe environment for my child, our children, for our families to support their own community, support their children in a community. That's what this is about. Because of this particular structure, for the town mayor, the town council, and the director of Parks and Recreation to say that they do not have any oversight or authority to intervene in a league-specific decisions, including suspension or retaliation, right? That's what they told me. I question that authority by asking, Who can the community come to when you have an organization that is governed by their own bylaws, but is operating fraudulently in their community, your community, right? Matters like this, I feel, cannot be handled directly by the league governing board. It just can't. If the governing body is operating unethically against the community, according to their own established bylaws, the rules and the procedures they have set in place from 2012 till now, this raises a reasonable question about impartiality and the decision-making process. It really does. You can find all this information on my Facebook page and my YouTube. It will be provided in the link. My request for each one of you that is viewing this, right? Speak up in the comments, hit the likes, hit the hearts. I need this to circulate. I need the community to speak on what's going on in the community. And I need this, because you have to take into account that if you really, really, really want to make a difference, we have to share this video, share the clips, speak on it. You know, and I have to ask, was the actions taken against me fair? When we talk about the information that I provided, based on fair accountability, or was it a response to a parent who chose to speak up? Listen, I'm a father standing up for my child, right? And I'm also standing up for every parent who should have the ability to raise concerns without fear of some form of retaliation. You know, man, I have provided social media references, recorded materials, and documents to support everything outlined in this message. My goal is not conflict. My goal is really about fairness, accountability, and ensuring that children in this community, all communities, are supported in a safe and respectful environment. Right? That's the father. That's what we do. It's fatherhood, and to be. I'm also asking. I'm not asking. I'm also demanding, as I should, fighting for, as I should, to be allowed to support my daughter throughout this season. Check it out. All right, our first game is April the 7th at 7 p.m. I will be in attendance. I'm not going to lie to you. What I'm asking, I'm calling on every supporter that hears this, every father, every community, everybody, right? I'm asking for you to come join us April 7th at 7 p.m. I need everyone's support for Eileen, because as she stated, she's defeated. She feels defeated. And that she does not need to feel that way. I want her to know that she has a community behind her. I really need y'all to be behind her. I need the community to come out in full support. I'm asking my Masonic brethren to attend. I'm asking the Deltas and all the Greeks to attend. I'm asking every friend that's within the area, every family member within the area to attend. I'm asking my MC community, and I know it's been a while since I've reached out to y'all, to come attend. I need you. She needs you. She needs each and every last one of her. She needs each and every last one of y'all to show up. She needs to know what a community looks like. I need y'all to show her what a community looks like when they rally behind her and let her know not only do you have your father's support and presence, you have the community support and presence. See, they think they can push one out. But I need them to know that we're a community and we're here for these kids. Also, if anybody can give me any legal advice, feel free to reach out to me. I need that because I'm pursuing.